Howdy, folks. It is Diecastbuffet here again. And, folks, you probably just witnessed the greatest Kansas race ever. I did not think last year's Kansas race could be topped, and sure enough, it did. Classic race you'll probably be watching 15 years from now. Unbelievable. Hamlin gets it done after passing Larson on the final lap with controversy. You got drivers fighting, a crap load of cautions. This Kansas race was absolutely probably the best race of the year. Let's just be honest what it is. And of course, that race win diecast, guys. Make sure to go ahead and pre-order that Denny Hamlin race win. Hopefully, it's got some confetti on there. I don't know if they're going to be making a 164. Let's hope. But for those 124 collectors, make sure you use the promo code down below, guys, for any orders $30 or more over from our friends at Circle B Diecast, and you could save on shipping. Wow. There is so much to talk about with this Kansas race, but I just got to say, Kansas has truly become one of the best racetracks in the entire sport. It took them 2 decades to get there. It used to be, oh, it's Kansas again. Another boring cookie-cutter 1.5 mile. The racing we saw today, best Kansas race I've ever seen. I mean, it's just insane. If you're an old school fan, if you like the Winston Cup, Nextel Cup 1.5 mile style racing where just everything happens, this is the type of race you should watch. Incredible stuff, man. Not only did they break the record for Kansas lead changes, but they broke the record, apparently, for 400-mile, 1.5 mile race racing in NASCAR history. They had more lead changes in a 400-mile race today than ever before. It just, everybody was up front, going for it. Hard racing. Even on lap 4, they were racing like it was the end of the race. Crashes, battle of attrition, tire strategy. I mean, tempers flaring. Chastain versus Gragson. Why? I like both of the drivers. Freaking Chastain went for it. Gragson put hands on Chastain, and Chastain just took a swipe, and he just grinning like a possum. Man, I love seeing rivalries in the sport. Oh my gosh, man. I'm telling you, Ross Chastain is one of the most interesting drivers we've seen in the NASCAR Cup Series because he races in a lot of ways kind of like, well, Dale Earnhardt. I mean, he just does whatever he wants. He'll never statistically be that good. But, I mean, in terms of aggression, that's how he races. Let's just call it what it is. People didn't like Earnhardt. A lot of people did like Earnhardt. That's the same way with Chastain. In my opinion, the biggest difference between Kyle Busch and a Ross Chastain in terms of how aggressive they are throughout their year is how they handle themselves off the track. Chastain is just grinning like a possum, very calm and mellow when he does his interviews, never arrogant or anything. And I think that's why a lot more people like Chastain compared to Kyle Busch back in his, his rowdy years with Joe Gibbs Racing. But Hamlin and Larson, that finish, it's such a great race too. And to be honest with you, it reminds me like carbon copy of last year's Coke 600. Unbelievable race, so much chaos, and Hamlin somehow at the end gets it done. My honest opinion about the finish and the controversy, if you will, of that, it looked like the 5 car was at the wall. He had no more area of the racetrack to run, and the 11 just came down and just hit him. He's trying to side draft. It's final lap. You got to go for it. I do wish the 11 would have waited until the corner and then just bumped the 5 car up the hill so that way the 5 car could catch it. He doesn't hit the wall. The 11 still gets the win. This is what stock car racing's about. You want the controversy. You want the drivers going at each other. It's a classic. It is a classic. 10 out of 10 race, 5 stars. Wow, man. It's one of those events that it's only 400 miles, right? But then you look at it, and there's 50 laps to go, and you feel like you've already watched 500 miles worth of racing. It's an endurance race. I wish it was 500 miles. I wish it was a much longer event because it's so good you don't want it to end, man. Wow. And I've been looking forward to this Kansas race for months now. I never thought in a million years, fellas, that on this channel I would be more interested in watching a Kansas race. Kansas. Which the Gen 6 era pretty much almost destroyed because, excuse me, at times it was so bad that I would enjoy it more than watching Bristol, Martinsville, Richmond, one other racetrack that usually is action-packed. That's no longer action-packed because of the next-gen cars suck at short tracks. So, Kansas, man. If from what I understand, the rumors could be possibly true. It's just a rumor. You never know. You hear these all the time. But if they do reduce Kansas to one race next year to make room for another track, that would be a huge L. It's the best 1.5 mile track out there right now. The racing is just incredible. And I'll also add the reason why the playoff race last year was not as good as the spring race last year and this year is because I think the hot temperatures with this style racetrack with the asphalt, which let's just be honest, it's like I think 11 or 12 years of the asphalt. So it's starting to get that Chicagoland Homestead, excuse me, I'm still getting over being sick, feel to it. So the asphalt's worn out, it wears the tires out, you get that multi-groove Fontana style racing. But my point is that this is the prime real estate. This is what every racetrack owner dreams of, is having a track in their prime. Whatever you do, don't reduce it to 2 races or from 2 races to 1, because this is I want to watch another race there. And the trucks were great. The truck race was a barn burner. We had Grant Enfinger that won it. That was awesome. This Cup race, man, this is probably going to be the best race of the year. Let's just be honest. I mean, maybe the Coke 600 will one up it. We know, excuse me, how crazy the Charlotte race is. But wow, what do y'all think, guys? I want to see those comments down below. I know a lot of Larson fans are going to be PO'd because he's been taken out multiple times this year. Let's just be honest. But he's already got a couple wins, so it's okay. It's okay. But I do wish Hamlin would have done it a little bit differently. It's kind of like Joey Logano versus Byron last year at the Darlington race, which, oh, by the way, throwback racing, Xfinity Trucks and Cup at Darlington. Holy cow. It bugs me that how Logano did it last year. Not that he necessarily won it, but because he just dumped him. You know, it's one thing to just nudge him up the track, you know, craving Kurt Busch him, so to speak, and just pass him. Don't just body slam them or spin them out or turn them into the wall. Just don't do that, because it makes you look like it just makes you look like you can't win without wrecking someone. So obviously Hamlin didn't do it intentionally. Just nudge him up the track. Don't take him out. Fortunately, Larson didn't get completely KO'd, so he was able to still get a good finish. But let's just be honest, in this day and age of racing, if you don't win, it really doesn't matter. You know, you want the playoff points, because that's the only thing that really matters once you're locked in. Elliott had a really good run today. He was up front leading some laps, but once you get out of clean air, man, you just really cycle back. But what a great race, man. If you're a fan of the old school style NASCAR racing, and you might not watch much anymore, watch this event. It's not a playoff race, just good, hard racing, and I guarantee you probably could not predict on lap 1 or lap 10 or whatever what's gonna transpire at the end of this race, because a lot of these 1.5 miles through the Gen 6 era, you kind of knew who's gonna win it. Nobody had any idea. I mean, it was all over the place. 3, 4 wide on the restarts, comers and goers. Do I need to say any more? Excuse me. But thank y'all so much for watching the video. Have a great one, everybody. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Wow. I'm thrilled. So we got Darlington coming up. We got North Wilkesboro, which I feel like the truck race is going to be better than the Cup race. Hope I'm wrong. And then we got Charlotte with the Indy 500 and the Coke 600. I mean, it's like the next 3 weeks are going to be some of the best weeks all year in terms of racing. So I'm really excited about that. I'm out of breath. I need some water. So have a great one, everybody. Man, I wish Larson would have won it. But you know what? It was a fantastic finish. One we'll be probably talking about for the years to come, because it really just was a classic NASCAR race. Diecastbuffet, signing off.